evening. Welcome to another installment of Creed Got Robbed, your favorite semi-annual movie podcast that you forgot we made these because we're in unscripted gaming too. Hi everybody.
Hello.
My name is Mike. I'm joined by Ray and Josh. Hi guys.
Hello. Good evening.
Your inconsistent schedule pisses me off.
Forgot he was gonna do this.
No, Count Orlok, not yet. We're not there yet. No, we're 3 things away from you, Count Orlok. Stay patient, please.
I'm not known for my patience.
You literally have been like are centuries old. That does denote a certain level of some sort of understanding of patience, but well, that's not there here nor there. First thing we always need to do on an episode of Creed Got Robbed is commemorate the fact that Creed got robbed. 10 years ago, the movie came out.
God, was that 10 years ago?
I know. We're old, man.
Damn.
It's not good. It's bad. Yeah, great movie. Check it out. Ryan Coogler. It's got the sauce. Hey, speaking of vampire movies, you should go watch Sinners because that's coming out on digital stuff if you haven't seen it, and that movie's great.
Coming soon to home video.
We were about to watch that today. We watched Puss in Boots instead because the missus does not like horror movies.
All right, I'm gonna time out because I'm gonna go back to some pre-show notes and feel like there was another movie that was suggested instead of Puss in Boots. Like Puss in Boots out here just knocking several movies off the queue today.
What was the other movie that was suggested?
You said you were gonna watch Mufasa instead.
Oh,
literally 2 minutes ago.
We were cycling through which movies we wanted to watch. I originally today said, hey, let's watch Sinners. This is available on Amazon Prime for an extremely high price, by the way, like $25 if you want to own it, or $20 if you want to rent it.
The day one digital rentals are like highway robbery does not begin to describe it. It's like it's like space elevator robbery. It's
space
an escalation of highway robbery. That is
at that point. I was just considering, like, I think I'm about to walk out and just go buy the Blu-ray if that's available.
Yeah, you might as well.
Like, I'm getting no other benefit. But we didn't watch that because the missus does not love horror movies. She said, like, why do I want to sit and watch a movie and just be anxious the whole time? And I wasn't trying to sell her on that. I said, okay, tell you what, we'll back off on that. How about we watch Mufasa? And we looked at the time scale, the runtime of it. It was like 2 hours. We're like, I don't know if we got 2 hours of hate watching it.
Yeah, again, just go watch My Creed Got Robbed on Mufasa, and you'll get all you need to know.
I don't want to sit there and be anxious during a movie. Hey, have you heard of this thing called life? Wait a minute. I have bad news for you.
We're here for escapism.
Ray's spouse.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I have extremely bad news for you.
I think a lot of people do watch movies to have that escapism. That's why we watch Puss in Boots, because it's a talking cat.
The cat,
and it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Yeah,
I liked it a lot. I laughed a lot. For it being a Shrek spinoff, I was highly entertained.
Yeah, it was a good time. I liked it. So okay,
you want to talk about
Creed Got Robbed. A fact that will never change. Fuck the Academy of Arts and Sciences. They know what they did. Maybe Ryan Coogler will get his flowers and a big fat pile of Oscars for Sinners because it's a really cool movie. A lot of cool stuff going on. We were lucky enough to see it in the 70mm, which was fucking life changing. There was just like. It's cool to be like watching a movie and being like, oh, this is the scene of the year. And you know it like the second it starts, and then it goes on for another like 2 minutes, and you're like, hell yeah, this is great.
Okay. All right.
So just a really cool movie that I think is in conversation with today's topic that we'll get to. But first I have to, before we get Count Orlok awoken from his deep slumber. We have and the most unlistenable podcast in the world begins.
For goodness,
we're so
we'll
close.
Get there. Guys, I I saw the Final Reckoning. Of the unscripted gaming collective universe. I'm the Mission Impossible guy.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I saw the Final Reckoning, and I I think
there's so many pause takes.
They I think they accidentally made the most accurate Metal Gear movie that you can make.
That
in all
bad.
of the good ways and bad ways that means.
Okay.
It's like if you want to watch Dead Reckoning and the first parter of the second parter that Final Reckoning is, if you want to watch Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, if you're like, Mike, should I go watch these movies? I'm going to ask you, what is your opinion on Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots?
Ooh.
Do you want a 5-hour movie version of that?
One could argue Guns of the Patriots is a 5-hour
I was going to say, if they already made it, it's called Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. They already made it. Kojima did this 20 years ago.
They already did it. Shit, you're right. Damn.
I actually did time it when I played that game. It is 8 hours. It is 4 hours of cutscenes, 4 hours of gameplay.
Hell yeah.
It's not even long.
And the gameplay is like barely gameplay. It's like walk from this one part of this hallway to another part.
And the next cutscene starts.
You just put on the camo, you just walk forward and shoot people with the silence gun. It's great.
But hey, at least you're doing it in sepia tone.
Look, this APC is mooing at you. Crazy. I want to say for Dead Reckoning, I want to get this out of the way. I'm not a super Mission Impossible fan. I will say during COVID, me and the missus did watch every single one of those movies back to back over the course of a month because we wanted to watch, I think it was Rogue Nation. That is the sixth one. My wife being cis female, she's like, "Oh, Henry Cavill." I was like, "Yes, we know, phenomenal ass."
Fallout is the one.
Fallout. Okay, Fallout. Okay, I'm sorry. That's another thing. This is how you know I'm not a super fan. I couldn't tell you the difference between Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout.
I mean,
I could tell you.
I could.
I know you could. That's perfectly fine.
Dumb. Are there 7 movies now? Is it the first?
Right, because there's 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning, Final Reckoning.
So 8 movies.
Yeah. And I did watch Dead Reckoning like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't think that was a spy movie. I thought this is, I think your Metal Gear,
it's a Metal Gear
analogy is really
it's the close, just like the way the dialogue is like. There's so much literal exposition happening in the dialogue that is so extremely like Snake used the fucking like
Snake. Try to remember the basics of CQC.
Right, that's like Snake used remember the basics of CQC. Snake, have you ever heard of DARPA like level dialogue? Like go rescue the DARPA chief because that's exactly it.
This highly trained agent is
the entity wants to know what's on your memory card.
The lolly-lulay-lo.
The entity is the Patriots.
Not even
joking.
A Metal Gear. They fucking made a Metal Gear.
If you run out of ammo, you can have some of mine. Won't you need it? Infinite ammo.
I mean, there is kind of a part in Dead Reckoning where it's kind of like, no one's in danger. This character is fine. And then the character does like, I'm not going to spoil this part, but they do like a completely BS thing. Everyone in the movie calls it BS and it just works. And it works perfectly. And I'm just like, okay, whatever movie. Let's keep going. I'll go make some more popcorn. You keep doing your
thing. And like in Final Reckoning, it's like, it really is like, did you like Metal Gear Solid 4? Did you really like it?
Let me ask you this as not a Metal Gear, as a Mission Impossible newbie, never seen a single film.
Okay.
If I wanted to, could I watch Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, or do I like how far do I have to go back? Like where
You would have a bad time,
Okay.
especially Final Reckoning and the first hour of this movie, which may or may not be like legitimately a clip show.
Oh no.
Like, like I said, it's fucking Metal Gear Solid 4. They fucking
Oh
did it.
no.
Like legitimate clip show. Like mild. This is okay. This is not even really a spoiler. Fuck it. Who cares? Like Ray, you remember? You know what I'm when I say like, do you remember the shot of like the knife falling and then like
Mhm.
the pan up to like the grate above?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
see that 4 times in the movie.
Ooh.
They show that like the knife hitting and then
Mhm.
the grade above 4 times in the fucking room. Like
That's a lot.
Do you know what my golden rule of movies is? Is don't remind me of a movie
There is.
I like more than the one I'm watching. 'Cause
That's a good
this
one.
fucking sucks. I want to
Never call back
turn
to a
this
better
shit off.
movie.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna just go watch the fucking first one again.
That's a good way to put it.
And then they do it 3 more times. And it's like,
You know,
oh
this-
look, here's the rabbit's foot. I'm like, fuck you.
Do I have to? Do I have to? Do I have to go back? Do I have to start with 1, or can I start with like the Fallout, like the reboot, like or whatever?
You know, the real well now.
No, actually, like
You
Dead
should do
Reckoning
1.
called back to the first movie.
Yeah, you should do 1 because it's great.
1 is good. I legitimately still like Mission Impossible 1.
I love 2, but I don't know. But haters will disagree. It's the one that has a Limp
Is
Bizkit
Mission
song
Impossible
for the
really just
soundtrack.
Metal Gear Solid?
It's really just the closest we have to an actual Metal Gear franchise.
Oh my God,
with
'cause
how
again,
incomprehensible it
everybody
gets.
like, especially at the time, like people were really mad at 2 because they pulled the bait and switch, and you think you're getting Solid Snake, and then you get fucking righted. So like,
Mission Impossible 2 is just like it's like Mountain Dew Live Wire got turned into a movie.
hell
That's
yeah.
a good way to put it.
And it's like
Hell yeah.
and it's not even like Live Wire they made now. It's like vintage 2003 Live Wire.
All right, you know what? I might
That's
need to
Mission
start.
Impossible 2.
This won't mean anything to you, Josh. Well, it might, so I'm gonna throw it out there anyways, because I respect you, and maybe you'll get it. Mission Impossible 2 is Mission Impossible 2 is literally let John Woo direct the next Mission Impossible movie. Go. That's the movie.
Yeah, I know you
That
like
was-
fucking dirt.
that was the most
I know you like
backhanded yet
shit.
sincere compliment at the same time. Like, you may be fucking stupid, but you may get this.
Hey,
I'm
you
gonna
like
say-
piss, right? Here, let me tell you about this thing that you'll like.
I use that because I don't think Josh, you never struck me as someone that like watched John Woo's Stranglehold or something like that, and that's fine, but it's full of dubs. And Mission Impossible 2 for no other reason than John Woo is full of dubs. Actually, you've seen Face Off. I assume
Yeah.
you've seen Face Off.
I am not gonna lie. I'm going out here to look up John Woo because I know I've heard that name, but I don't know. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know.
Fair
Like,
enough.
I'm never so and so. Like, Mike loves to drop like, oh, it's a so and so flick, and I'm and I have other friends who also do that, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means because I don't know who
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
my movies. I barely know who's in those
Education,
movies.
son. You gotta get there. Yeah, it's a movie. It just Mission Impossible 2 is a movie released on May 24th of the year 2000,
Yeah.
and that's all you need to know.
It's got the 90s edge all up into
Oh,
it.
John
yeah,
Woo
it's
be doing
great.
action flicks.
It's great. Yes, he does.
This is the most action-ass spy movie.
But it's like,
You did Wind Talkers. I saw Wind Talkers.
Technically, you could probably skip 2. I don't know. I think it's fun to watch. I don't know. I like to. It's just so out there and weird and fun. I don't know.
Real quick, Mike. You know in Wind Talkers where it's about Marines attacking Pacific Islanders fighting the Japanese, and they're doing backflips to try to assault the Japanese fortifications because that's how Marines in World War II attacked Japanese fortifications.
Hell yeah.
Imagine the Mission Impossible
Alright.
movies.
Right into mailbag at unscriptedgaming.com. Tell me which Mission Impossible movies I need to watch and which ones I can skip.
Okay. No, sorry. Okay, I'm getting to that. I just got distracted by
Okay.
Mission Impossible 2 because it rocks. Listen to the Limp Bizkit song. It's great. The one he does with like the Mission Impossible theme. It's fun. You could probably, I don't know. My thing would be like, you watch one, you skip 2 and 3. I'm not a big 3 fan. I know 3 has its defenders. It's kind of like the proto blockbuster to like the MCU era. It feels kind of like the blueprint for a lot of how those movies work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like because it's like a J.J. Abrams movie.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So it's like very much a lot of that DNA became movies for the next 15 years. But it was like maybe a little too early. So you skip 2 and 3. You can go back to them if you really like it. But then on, you've got Ghost Protocol, really fun time at the movies, really great one. And then you've got Rogue Nation, Fallout, back to back, just top tier, beautiful, like amazing sequences. A great new character comes into those movies and is just brilliant the entire time. Just a lot. Those are both. You watch the Mission Impossible movies so you can get to Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, and Fallout, and just have a really great fucking time with those movies.
I think I can agree with that. Yeah.
I didn't even. I liked a lot of. I found Dead Reckoning a little clunky.
Yeah.
But like was like, yeah. Okay, I think I'm on board here. And Final Reckoning just does some shit that is just so. Again, it is so Metal Gear. It's like does some stuff that it's like, oh, by the way, the guy on the radio was the super villain. The guy on the radio in Snake Eater was the fucking bad guy the whole time. You're like, what? Like that level of like, this is supposed to be an important thing that is incredibly fucking stupid. That level of stuff with the.
I appreciate the back and forth.
Right, I would. Here. At some point, you'll have to watch Final Reckoning just so you can understand how fucking stupid some of this stuff is. But this is like, this is the first hour and like 15 minutes of this movie is just that.
Okay, I want to get your opinion on this because I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but it is my opinion. I think Dead Reckoning could have chopped off 35 minutes and it would have been a better movie for it.
35 minutes is a lot, but probably. This movie, this movie feels like it got like watched, and then people are like, nobody's gonna have any fucking clue what any of this means. You have to put in all of these flashbacks, or else nobody's gonna understand. I'm like, I would understand. I remember the movies. I know, but everyone else is stupid. But
it's 2025. Nobody.
This is all starting to make sense
all
in
of
retrospect.
This, okay, sorry, this is a long tail, and we gotta. Count Orlok is banging on the top of his coffin as he is on the fucking as he's on the fucking the Demeter, across the ocean or whatever.
They boarded a ship full of rats.
I forgot to charge my Switch.
Nightmare.
My Switch is charged, but my Joy-Cons are dead.
The Durnift.
The fuck you mean your Switch is charged, but your Joy-Cons are dead? Plug them in.
I want
to
play on the kickstand on my roof party.
Count Orlok's rooftop Switch party. We can play 1-2 Switch. The HD Rumble.
Turn the Joy-Con sideways in Mario Kart. Use tilt controls.
I like that the stick is in the middle of the controller. It's fine, actually. You get used to it.
It's ergonomic.
The left Joy-Con. Oh.
All that to say, I was about fucking out on this movie. And then Tom Cruise practically looks into the camera and says, I need you to trust me one last time. And then I'm like, All right, Ethan. Okay.
you
And
simped.
then the movie has a fucking just insane, extremely cool sequence. Like under a crazy underwater sequence. It's super tense, and it's like I wish this was the fucking movie the whole time.
Gotta pad it out.
As soon as we hit the aircraft carrier, then the submarine, it's like we got fun characters. We got a crazy cool sequence. Just it's just so much better than the rest of this shit. And then there's you yada yada through some more fucking flashbacks. You see the goddamn knife drop yet again. And then it's all over the posters and stuff. And then the plane stuff at the end, and kind of the final sequence of the movie is fucking insane. It's he's walking on the wings of a fucking biplane or whatever. That's crazy. It's cool that he actually did that. That was insane. The kid's not a biplane, but it's a whatever kind of plane you call that.
This is in retrospect making a lot more sense, because every advertisement I've seen for Final Reckoning is just advertising doing stunts as opposed to the movie actually being good. So I'm going it leads me to, I'm still going to watch it. Obviously, I'm going to watch it at home, probably not in theater. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm going on a vacation next week. Am I going to go to a theater to sit down and watch this? No, I'm probably going to watch it.
Good call.
It was again, the stunt stuff was, again, 10 out of 10. It was so crazy. It was great. I loved it. But then it's just surrounded by the most indulgent Metal Gear ass dialogue and stuff that you've ever seen, and just pointless style contrivances and reveal. Just god damn it, I'm so mad about it. So it averages out to it averages out to a 6 out of 10, but it's because a 10 two legitimate 10 out of 10 20-minute blocks are surrounded entirely by 4 out of 10 everything else.
That's brutal.
At best, if not lower than that.
I can't wait to watch it.
It's a real god. It's what a god damn it. There's again, big spoiler I can't talk about. There's something I am so fucking pissed about this movie.
Oh man, I cannot wait.
I'm indescribably furious about, and I can't really convey to anyone else other than my wife about how fucking mad I am about it.
You know who else is indescribably furious?
Who?
Count Orlok. That some
brother.
fucking realtor is trying to step up on his girl. It's fucking.
We're gonna talk about some Nosferatu.
We're talking about Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. His remake,
not the 1922.
No.
I mean, yeah, 1922 version, which by the way is open. It's public domain.
Yeah,
because they stole it. They
yes.
stole the rights to it. Made a 91-minute movie to it. They lost the battle in court, and now you can just literally go to Wikipedia, which I'm on right now, and watch the entire thing.
Did you guys know that the guy from that one SpongeBob episode is from a movie? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Never mind.
So real quick, before we get into the Nosferatu, what this podcast was supposed to be about, I do think it's important to I'm gonna give a little context. So I got a very truncated Dracula Nosferatu prep going into this movie. So this saw it last year, 2024, when it came out. I read Dracula, the book. I saw Nosferatu, the original, which is based on the book but changed for legal reasons even back then, which important to note, there are 2 versions of Nosferatu, the 1922 version with different music, and it does change the tone slightly, so be careful which one you watch. I saw Van Helsing, the the 2004 flick with Hugh Jackman, and that was basically all of the context I had for like real Dracula going into this movie. Like, I didn't see the 79 Nosferatu the vampire. I didn't see any of the other real stuff. Like, I went into this like with like the source material and none of the like middle context.
I mean, you're further along than me. I've only seen scenes of Bram Stoker's Dracula with Keanu Reeves. I want to watch that. That does look interesting. I have also
I've
seen
heard that's
Van
really
Helsing.
good.
I saw Van Helsing at the Page Manor $2 theater in Dayton.
Hell yeah. I'm sure that's exactly where I saw it too.
That was a good $2 movie.
Oh yeah.
And I've read lots of vampire fiction, but I don't think I specifically read the ones that you've read, which is way closer to the source material. And yeah, obviously, watch this movie.
Yeah, real quick, plot twist. The book Dracula can basically be boiled down to a bunch of dudes trying to protect a lady, white knight her, and if they would just listen to her, things would have gone a lot smoother. It's a great book. I would read it. But like, there's definitely some times where they're like, "Oh, lady, let us help you," and she's like, "But like, let me do this thing," and then them going to do the thing to help her actually puts her in more gravest bodily harm.
Yes.
So
I did watch a YouTube synopsis of the entire book of Dracula, so I haven't actually read the book, so I know the story at the very least, but haven't read it yet. So yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And
Mike, what about you?
The video games Castlevania make a lot more sense now.
Right.
Yes, Josh, go ahead.
No, what is your like Dracula Nosferatu like? What did you know going into this? Because I do think the way that Eggers portrays Nosferatu the vampire and like the way that he puts his power out there is very different than in most other interpretations, or at least the interpretation of like how Dracula projects his power changes over time. And like, this is kind of like the logical conclusion of like 100 years of Dracula and like what it was saying about like imperialism in the 1800s,
and, like, aristocracy.
Yeah. Versus like what it's saying about sexuality now. So like, what is your basis?
Good question. This is a bit of a blind spot for me. I have not seen the original Nosferatu or like the remakes. Have not seen Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's on the list though.
Right.
Haven't read Dracula either. So again, a bit of a blind spot.
You're going a little raw. Yeah.
A little raw. Yeah. That's right. So
a little
I guess
raw.
Oh my God.
a little synopsis here, I guess. Off the top here. What's a good IMDb, our like synopsis here is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and a terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake. And I think it's pretty accurate summary here of we have kind of the main character, Ellen, played by a really transformed Lily Rose Depp. She has been accused of having Instagram like cell phone face, and I think she did they did a really good job. Like, I don't know, just all the like costuming and like wardrobing and stuff in this movie is really good because she like is completely like fits the period. I think with just how they like style her and everything. She is someone kind of in touch with the spirit, like the spiritual plane. I like how they kind of leave it kind of vague as to like how, like what she can tap into or like what specifically she's like pulling on, and like what it symbolizes, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
And this vampire Count Orlok, and kind of his minions like act to bring them together at great peril if Ellen refuses here and refuses the advances of Count Orlok, and at greater and greater cost. And there's a lot of things to unpack as far as like what that kind of means here, but I think we just gotta get some of the other stuff off the top here. Let's get the impressions out of the way here, folks, because Bill Skarsgård, the Skarsgårds, we love them here.
We do.
Shout out to Luthen, you're great Skarsgård. Yeah, Bill's going crazy mode in this movie, which is so much fun.
Yeah, like what's the oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. What's the method actor that did like Abe Lincoln? Like who's that? Like
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, he went full like Daniel Day-Lewis, but on like the fucking ghoul side. Like it felt like he embodied everything that it meant to be the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like he's like, put my ass on the boat. We're gonna ship me over to across the sea so I can. I saw he worked with like kind of an opera vocal coach to like train his voice to talk like this.
Yeah, to do the vibrato.
Oh my god!
Right.
And that's why he worked with a coach, because then he wouldn't have to
destroy his vocal cords.
Yeah.
Semi-related to that too, just like in terms of like the acting in general, like I walked away from that like there were it's hard to describe, but like it was everybody hammed it up like it was a stage production, but none of it really took me out of the experience of thinking they were incredible screen actors, if that makes sense. Like there is a way that you can overact, especially in like a period piece like this, where it feels performative and you're like, oh, they're on stage and they're projecting to the back of the house and like you're not supposed to take it seriously, but like, or you don't ever fully like feel like they are actually that person. But like I felt like everybody in this movie did a really good job of like feeling like a Victorian stage show, but also like believably doing so, that they were actually that person, not just a stage performer.
Right. And I think that's honestly like a little bit of like the text of what's happening in the movie, right? Where it's like, I guess like the one person who really kind of understands and kind of relates with Ellen is the professor, played by Willem Dafoe, who's like introductory scene is him like cackling with like the torch, and,
right?
You know, and it's just very like, oh hell yeah, Willem Dafoe's here kind of entrance. But he's the one who like,
who is our Van Helsing? That is Van Helsing.
Yeah, that's absolutely Van Helsing energy.
Yes. Yep.
Right. But he's the one who like can't, isn't, I guess, like isn't trying to like push Ellen to like repress what she can do and like what she is. Like I really loved the line he had about like, hey, in another time, in like another society, like people would have viewed what you can do and what you are like with reverence.
Yeah.
And
whereas we're in the area where we're saying like
of like high Victorian society, you are punished and like
a woman experiencing sexuality is hysterical and must be chained to a fucking bed while she orgasms uncontrollably. Like yeah, that's 100%. Like, he's the only person that's like, yeah, you're having like a pretty distressing but normal sexual experience, and like, you know, some people would be happy to be that heightened, and yeah, our society not so much, but like, you do you, girl. We'll figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think that's a really good angle, Josh, and yeah, I really loved. I think speaking of other just kind of performances in this movie, I really loved. I think also getting to like the kind of text in the movie. I like Nicholas Holt as Thomas. Like Ellen just is just like my sweet Thomas. It's so cute, and she worries for him so as he is fucking like having the worst time of anybody in this movie is, and like Orlok's, you know, fucking castle of hell.
Right.
He's getting kind of teased by Orlok more times than not.
Right, like the just again, like I loved him being like, I have a contract for you to write, and he like cuts his finger or something, and Orlok is like, just like really good stuff there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Also loved him getting like bitten in the chest.
Yeah.
It's like it's just like a good little like kind of, especially with like the nature of like where this movie kind of goes, where it's like plucking on the kind of like the sexual aspect of like vampiric domination and control and stuff. Like it like the bite into the chest and then Orlok fucking like going in with the hips. You're like,
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
He was
really
getting
good.
up in there.
Right.
It's
Like,
And the sound design made sure you heard
oh
it.
yeah,
They're like,
it's
yeah,
so
listen,
good in this movie.
get up in here. We're gonna cut off all other sound, cut off all other tracks. You, Orlok, get that chest sucking going there, and you hear, and I'm gonna
Oh,
imitate
yeah.
it. I apologize
It's
for
so
everyone. Turn your volume up. He's going. And the theater is making sure, or if you're watching at home, they're making sure you hear that.
He
You feel
Orlok
that.
is trying to suck a pea down a straw, and it's not, you know. But
he's having a good time. You know what? Good for him.
and
He's
then
getting into it.
then our poor boy has to go and you know, do some exploring around the castle, and then he sees that shit swanging. I tell you what, Orlok
Alex,
packing some HEAT heat.
We're talking about like
That's
In-
how
in
that's
the
how
whole-
he's able to project his sexual energy across the ocean, is that fucking swinging dick.
we're talking. Okay, I know based on background knowledge because my wife sent me an Instagram video about how that was a prosthetic that they
Yes.
use, and it's like,
Mhm.
hey, the female actress is like, and I'm gonna be a little crude here, she's like chest out for like I want to say 30% of the movie, which whatever they're trying to tell a story about that. They're not just doing it to be crude. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's not doing it to be crude. 10% of the time, your mileage will vary. Why is the guy using a prosthetic? Me and the missus always talk about it is 2025. It is, or last year 2024. Hang
Yes,
hog.
Because I mean,
Get out there.
let's be honest. Bill Skarsgård does not have a penis that hangs 2 feet from
It was
his
not
crotch.
2 feet.
It was down
I don't
past
think
his
it was
fucking.
too-
It was past his knees.
It was not past his
You
knee.
was down there, bud.
Josh, you're looking like, oh my god, it's a 2x4.
I think like
I was
That's
watching
one of
I was
the-
watching that movie, and I had to text somebody like in the middle of it. I was so distracted by the penis that I had to text him and be like, "Holy shit, it is swanging." It's I also believe
I
I
didn't even
think
think about it that much.
I do
just
believe Nicholas Holt took the prosthetic the penis from the set and has it in his collection now.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the 3-foot penis, right? Keeps getting bigger. As
Apparently, this anaconda
the
that Warlock just
My
5 foot.
anaconda don't want none unless you are across
Not
the ocean.
buns, hun. All that to say, yeah, I think a lot of the production design in this movie is just really sharp. Like I love
good.
Eggers, like his style. Like he has a very kind of distinct look. It's just like I think what did I see? I think I remember seeing around the like they did something really cool with the cameras where I gotta find it again. Like exactly what they did, where it's like they used lenses to like block out certain kinds of light. So it's like they were
okay.
maybe I'm getting my stories confused here. Let me find it. But yeah, just I love this just the really good like
I want to ask you all a question.
mhm.
Did you both feel like this was a horror movie? Because I did not get the horror tensing of this, but I also am willing to admit that movies like Hereditary may have broken me, and also playing the game Alien Isolation may have also broken me. Was this a horror movie to both of you, or was this kind of a romp? I felt it was a romp.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, there were some. I never really did like the like. There were some like semi anxiety, maybe frightening moments, but I would almost then like put that as like. I don't know if thriller is the right word for it either, but like.
Right.
It was It was unsettling. It wasn't horrifying.
Unsettling.
It was unsettling. It wasn't horrifying, and I don't know that there's necessarily a word to describe.
Yeah, to me, I think this is more of like a gothic. I would just
Yeah.
gothic horror is how I would describe it, and I found it. Yeah, so I think they used filters on like the lenses to discard like red and yellow, and like red, yellow, and orange light with some.
Okay.
So that's like why like some of the shots of like Nicholas Holt's character going up to like the castle were like that so weird, like blue, like dark blue and
Very
kind
blue,
of
yeah.
silvery, just like super cool style, like, and that they like that's how they like technically achieve that. Like I thought that was
Okay.
just really sharp looking.
That is cool.
And I'm trying to think of just some other stuff that I liked here. I really just thought like you kind of I like how this movie you kind of feel like it's all like as the kind of movie advances, like Count Orlok is like killing more and more people. He's like threatening to bring the plague as like his hand stretches over the city, and
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
like like he kills the kids.
I did
really
like that
bad,
part,
man.
because you're like, is this movie gonna go there? And it absolutely goes there. There's like no line this movie was not willing to cross at any point. It felt like.
And I just really liked the touch that like everything is kind of like Ellen has like every reason to like give in to Count Orlok and like his demand, because like but like her love for Thomas is like too true and sweet, and it just I don't know, it's like it's just a really like kind of touching little way to like, not like a touching little thing to end the movie, it's like the whole crux of it, but like I just really liked like when she finally does like let Count Orlok in.
Oh, we should put a spoiler tag somewhere here.
Yeah, fuck it, they're fine. They're going.
If you're listening to Creek Got Robbed, you know you're gonna get spoiled.
It's fine. They had time. If they're watching if you're listening to a podcast without watching a movie, I don't know. It's on them. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm really not sorry at all.
You're
actually.
clearly not sorry. It's okay.
I've never been
less sorry than you are right now
about anything I've said about on the podcast. Truly grow up. You will be fine.
Jesus.
But
my soul pissed off. Boy.
But like when like Thomas comes into the room and as like Count Orlok is like, oh shit, the sun, fuck, and dies. Having been like just completely like engrossed in like the night with Ellen, which is just like it's just so sad to like think about and like
I
but like
really like
she
that.
but like I like she is like again really good like just practical prosthetics of just like poor like Ellen is like going to die because she is not like is looking really really bad.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so easy because like everyone else like sees the violence and horror that has that has happened here, and like Thomas is just like immediately like locks in on like Ellen's eyes and like it doesn't even like see her for anything else that has happened here and like just sees like her as like she wants to be seen, and like how she's talking to Thomas in the very end. It's just like I thought it was a really good like I liked that as like the central as just like the kind of central thread of the movie. It's like I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's too sad. It's like kind of it would be too sad of a note for her to lose even Thomas in the end of all of this. Um, it just makes me. It just breaks my heart for her to be even like truly have no one else in the world who like not even like dear Thomas would like could understand her.
Yeah.
So I just really I liked that. That's like the kind of final beat that we get with them.
Yeah,
Is that
and it's
even
interesting.
after all this, it's still them.
You know, I don't know how the 79 Nosferatu the vampire ends, but going to give you a little spoiler about the 1922 Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
She does live long enough at the end for him to hold her before she passes. So, for it to, the last touch that she experiences being Orlok's in this version as she frees herself but also the world of the curse of Orlok and not being able to be held by her husband is definitely a choice and makes what she does, I feel like, even more beautiful and more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
I took this a completely different way than the both of you guys took it. I'm gonna sound crude for a bit, so prepare for like 5 minutes of possibly misanalysis, but this is the way I took it.
I'm so buckled
This
up.
MFer, he had like psychic mind sex with her when she was like what 16 and he was across the continent, and he's like, oh, that was that good shit, I'm gonna remember that.
I'm
and
going
so
to cross the ocean
remembers,
for the pussy.
he haunts her for what 10 years, like
yeah.
mind haunting her, and he is a count, he is X number of centuries old, he has all the money, doesn't matter, he wants
That's
that.
the real problem. It's the age gap. That's the real problem for me, actually.
So wait, we half the age.
No, let me finish. And so he goes out of his way. He sets up a scheme. He sets up a realtor scheme where he takes over the mind of some guy, some company in Germany. He says, I'm going to buy a house so that because of the way vampires operate, they have to invite you. You have to be invited into their house so it doesn't count. Especially if you're going to, he does the whole vampire shtick of I need permissions. This has to be contractually obligated. He says to the broker Thomas, he's like, you have to sign here, otherwise this doesn't work. Sign with this pen.
I do love the like. Here's all the legalese, yada yada yada. It's fine. Just sign it. It's okay. You don't need to read it all.
I can read this contract. I read the the creepy vampire read this contract. It's fine, Thomas.
I know it's in Romanian and you don't fucking understand it, but it's fine. Just
and then once the contract is signed, he's like, excellent, we will be neighbors. He's in. And then he goes across the ocean on a boat, plagues the world, and says, you must take me as your wife. You have to contractually take me as the husband so that I may have physical intercourse with you. Because that's what this is all about. That's what it's all ever been about. He's a horny vampire. So at the end, she knows that there's only one solution. Nothing's going to stop this dick. I have to let it happen. She keeps saying to Thomas, there's only one way this ends, and it's me. And then she tricks him she even, in the scene, she brings him in, and he's about to stop because he notices, hey, it's getting kind of late. We've been in here. I've been sucking the blood. I've been giving you the D. It's been great, but the sun's about to come up. No, she pulls his face in and says, more. Yeah, she says more twice. And he's like, well, all right, here we go. He keeps going.
Whomst amongst us has ever had their face grabbed by a woman and said more and been like, no.
No, I'm good.
no, you say bet and you go for it.
And then when the sun comes up, that's when he finally noticed, I screwed up.
I fucked
and
up.
He dies. Without a word, he screams, and she also, in her blinding moments, also dies looking at her actual love, Thomas, but she, as Josh noted, had to give it all up because nothing was going to stop that dick.
Yeah, I mean,
she took one for the world.
Yeah, she did, and that's the real tragedy of it, that she's like, the world kind of does not, like, appreciate her for it, really.
Yeah,
or like greater Victorian society, it certainly doesn't.
And I think it really it. And I think this is something where we as a society often do not appreciate the sexuality of women. We as a society, we as a global, there are so many tropes about how women and wives don't like sex and they don't like. They are reactive, but she was somebody who was unapologetically sexual, and she had this very formative sexual.
And it's like
experience.
A strength for her.
Yeah, and it was a strength for her, and
and then that is something that is abused.
Yes,
and
100%
by Count Orlok.
Yep, and her final act is her controlling that and being like, I can turn this around, and I can do this on my terms, and I can make this something that is a force for good. But I think it really boils down to, again, we often do not celebrate the sexuality of women and acknowledge that they have it, and her, Ellen having it and using it, and ultimately saving everybody with it, saving her husband, saving the love of her life, saving everybody that she cares about is huge.
I want to say, and this is kind of dark, and this is where I said the movie never saw a line it didn't want to cross. The poor Harding family, first Count Orlok eats Mr. Harding's they're German, Herr Harding's daughters, then eats his wife, and then Harding, in a fit of depression, goes to the cemetery and commits necrophilia.
Yep.
Straight up.
That's not good, man.
I think for me, the way I see that too is almost in the yes, it's horrifying, and it goes to just the power that Orlok has in this deep ancient curse, but also part of me feels like this movie doesn't have a line it won't cross is almost a homage to the original book, in the anti-imperialist and anti-colonialist vibes that it had of the oppressor state will stop at nothing to achieve its goals. So it's very much in that same Orlok will stop at nothing to do what he wants to do, and both the sexual conquest, but if you go all the way back to Bram Stoker of the imperial conquest. Like it's the same.
There's no stop. There's no limit.
right.
And I think this is like why he. It's like
When you
why it's
are
like, why
when
did he let himself get killed at the end? It's like he literally could not stop.
yeah, because his whole goal was to project his power and to have control. And when you are in that mode, you cannot stop.
I want to say near the beginning of the film, Thomas thinks less of these people, but shout out to the Romani people because their little the rituals that they did, those rituals are what kept Orlok from freely roaming the countryside. And they're like, those people, them and their things that they do. Don't mind them. Don't mind them.
That
But
was
that
good.
He would have never escaped had it not been for them.
Had Thomas not signed the contract, Thomas was so thirsty to be partner for that realty company.
Yeah.
And he accidentally unleashed the plague.
He had a blushing bride at home. He wanted to give her a nice vacation. He was hoping for a little something when he took her there. So I get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if a German old man tells you to sign a contract in blood, let me tell you, you never sign it.
You gotta bring a lawyer.
Yeah, and
when
there are weird hieroglyphics that you don't understand, and they say it's in a different language, but I can read it.
You gotta do the Pawn Stars thing, right? You gotta have a guy.
You gotta call your guy.
You gotta have a guy. You gotta have a guy. Rick, call up Rick. Ask him for a guy. He's got a guy on the strip. He'll give you his number. We'll sort it out, right?
If said German weirdo says, stay at my castle for the night.
In a pinch,
don't stay at the castle.
In a pinch, maybe you call Chumley.
Chumley.
You only call Chumley if you suspect it's drugs.
Dude, Chumley, reviewing Count Orlok's contract. I think I've seen one of these before. What? This is an original. I drafted it myself. Best we can do is $200, Mr. Orlok.
All right, I have nothing else to add to this movie because I liked it. I dug it.
This was great.
It was well-paced.
I really loved it. Again, I think just my only final shot here is just I just think it's interesting that we get a lot of kind of big vampire stories recently. I think when it comes to dealing with people and forces that are designed to consume and endlessly and unquenchably, I think it is interesting that these ideas are finding relevance in a mass audience again, and I just wonder what that says about where things are and where we're going and who we feel like is in charge of stuff. I don't know. Food for thought, I guess. I feel like, again, I think this movie also goes in really great conversation with Sinners in a lot of other really, really cool ways.
Okay.
That I bet you guys would. If you, I think, liked Nosferatu, you should check out Sinners.
It is on the short list.
Sweet.
The very short list, yeah.
It's definitely
Josh, if people did not like me yelling at them about growing up about spoilers, where can they send their hate mail?
They can send it to mailbag at unscriptedgaming.com. All feedback can be directed there. And if it's really good, maybe we'll read it on the next podcast. But, Mike, do you know where you can keep up with all of the various shows that we do here in the Unscripted Gaming universe?
Sure don't. Where?
You can go to unscriptedgaming.com. That is where you can find links to all of our shows, our Creed Got Robbed, Unscripted Gaming, Postscripted when we do that. We need to pick a new show here soon, seeing about that. You can follow our socials on Facebook at Unscript Game Podcast. We're on Blue Sky, I think, at unscript_gaming. SoundCloud.com/unscripted-gaming gives you audio versions of all of our podcasts. We are on all the major podcasters, and you can find video versions of our podcast by searching Unscripted Gaming 2.0. Thank you for listening to Creed Got Robbed by Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
My name is Mike. Peace.
Peace.